When I was 23 years old, all anybody wanted to ask me was, what do you do for a living? And what was my response? My response was, I do awesome. I'm Steve Armato, and I started this podcast to interview awesome people who build awesome lives. So now, let's do awesome. Welcome back to another episode of Doing Awesome. On today's show, we have a friend of mine who is a local, the first Hoboken local on the show, Vincent Ferrer. He is a attorney who focuses on commercial real estate, but he also has a very good backstory, and he's somebody who, the reason I wanted to have him on the show was because of the focus that he has on relationships. So stay tuned for this episode of Doing Awesome. Vincent Ferrer, my guy, you are actually the first person from locally in Hoboken to be on the show with me. How are you doing today, my friend? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good to see you and speak with you. And wow, I'm basically de facto representing Hoboken now. It's a great spot. So
it's a good place to be in right now. Listen, so I want to just give a little context and backstory. Like, I met you through networking, Hudson Connections, and you're somebody to me that is a master networker and somebody who, you put people together, you bring people together, you're big on relationships. And I really want to start there before we get into everything that you do. And I know that you're great at what you do, but before we get into that, I want to talk about like you as being a connector and why you feel that that's important in just life in general.
sure. Well, first off, happy to be here and thanks for the opportunity. I really like the podcast thus far, and you've had some great guests, and it's awesome, and it's a testament to your own network. So in terms of networking and meeting people, and there's a lot of industry venues, avenues, forums, whatever you want to call it. I think it's just about helping someone out, and that's part of the reason I became an attorney. That's part of the reason I've had the experiences I've had and tried to align with certain people and stay away from others in certain capacities. But ultimately, I think I enjoy helping people and being in a servant leadership type role. And I've tried to see where I could do that and be of highest and best use. And I think I kind of create a career that allows me to do that at a very high level and really be beneficial to anybody, whatever the industry is. Obviously, I have a focus as a practitioner, as an attorney, and our firm does as well. But it's genuinely something I enjoy. I genuinely try to do it in a way without an expectation of receiving something. And it's kind of, you do seven things, one way, you get back 77-fold, you pay it forward. People have done that for me ad nauseum. And I just try to do that with the time I got on this rock. So that's it.
And I do want to say this: you are great at picking lunch spots to do that. I went to Antique, the new lunch Antique spot 112 with you for the first time. It
was awesome, right?
Dude, it was great. It was great. I've gone back there twice since, because I went the first time without my wife. She was like, "We have to go." I was like, "We do have to go." And now, so it's been great. But I want to get into this a little bit. So
Yeah.
you're an attorney at A.Y. Strauss. You focus on, I know you as somebody who focuses on commercial real estate. I know you do a little bit more than that, but how did you get into the commercial real estate side of, because there's a lot of different areas of law, right? So how'd you get into
Sure.
the commercial real estate side of things?
I would say, just taking it a step back, I'm the first in my family to ever get a law degree, pursue and complete a college degree. And I'm second generation American. So for me, everything was new, and it was kind of like, how do you build up and understand the environment you're stepping into, and how do you excel at that? So that just begets a natural curiosity, especially if you want to do that at a high level. And I always had an interest in law, in marketing, in business, in real estate, and I've just tried to take on opportunities before going to college, during college, after college. I've always had a job and always tried to just learn and put myself to good use and pursue different areas of interest. And more, I started to see the commercial real estate side of things in that world, and it seemed kind of daunting at first. But it's just like anything, you get more familiar with it by speaking to people that have been in it for many more decades than you've been alive. And I tried to kind of take on opportunities professionally that would allow me to get closer and closer to having a hand in that. Um, and I'm privileged to be at a firm where that's a main focus point of ours, the commercial real estate transaction space, and they do it at a very high level for a firm of our size. So I guess I should say before going any further that I'm here on my own volition, and although I am an attorney at a firm, our conversation is not legal advice, shouldn't be construed, so on and so forth. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, I wanted to be involved in commercial real estate, and New Jersey is a great place to do it. And as well, New York City, right across the Hudson, there's plenty of activity, and the things that happen here, um, they get talked about across the world. So it's just an exciting place, a modern day Rome, whatever you want to call it. A lot's going on in a very small square foot, a small area, to put it that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I want to, I want to talk about where'd you grow up, and how did that shape kind of how did that shape you as you've gone through life now to where you've gotten to today?
Sure. So I grew up in a small town called Belford within a larger town called Middletown, New Jersey. Right by Red Bank. Nobody really knows where Middletown is. A lot of people know where Red Bank is. Both of my parents grew up in New York City, in Brooklyn and the Bronx, respectively. Um, I say I'm half Irish, half Puerto Rican, all American. I think that that jives well with people and they appreciate that. But really coming up as in a blue collar household um, in New Jersey, which in my opinion, and I'm 100% biased, greatest state in the union. There's a lot going on here. There's something for everyone, and there's a great medley of personalities, industries, so on and so forth. Um, but yeah, I mean, I loved being in that area. I see a lot of opportunity in the not too distant future in the real estate side of things, business side of things, of course, as well. But in the real estate side of things, in that area, Monmouth County, Ocean County, those communities. And yeah, I mean, I was just happy to be a part of that community. It was safe. It was great. It was a lot of fun. And I took part in and had the opportunity to take part in cross country and track. So I got to literally run throughout the entire area all the time for training, for
Nice.
whatever. But yeah, that was a part of my upbringing.
So now I have to ask you this because I know the area. I know Red Bank. I know the towns that it's close by. There's a fun one I need to ask. Like,
Sure.
what were your bars when you were of legal drinking age? Summertime, Jersey Shore. What were your spots
Oh
that you
dear.
hit down there? I have to ask everybody. I have to ask. You have to know. It's something that I need to know
No, I
because I could tell you
appreciate that.
mine too.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great spots. They're not like big box spots. They're like small mom and pop places, and there's also like more regional chains and whatnot. So like the McLuhan's Hospitality Group, they do a great job. So like in Red Bank specifically, Robinson Ale House, great spot. You got Char Steakhouse right across the way. Also,
It's a
a
good.
lot,
That's a good one.
that's
That's
a
a
good
good one.
one. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many. It's hard to like nail down. It's really like what type of cuisine do you want? And there's probably at least two to five, honestly, two to five options that would be like I'm happy with either one of them, and they're all very good. So there's something for everyone.
Do you go back down there a lot now, or you kind
Not too
of?
much. No, I'm stationed up here in Hoboken, and our offices are in Livingston in New York City. So I kind of stay in that North Jersey corridor, if you want to call it, North Jersey
Right.
through New York City. But every once in a while, I'll go back down, and there's usually new spots. There's the old favorites. A lot of people swear by Angelica's in Seabright.
Haven't been there, but I've heard about it.
I heard people rave about that place. I've yet to be there myself. The Butcher's Block is they do very good on social media. And I was just at a lunch earlier today where like that's on someone's list of like I want to go, but it's very hard to find a table. It seems like they do a great job. But as far as like favorite spots go, I really like Nicholas Barrel and Roost right across the
Okay.
way. Definitely got to
Okay.
hit that up if you haven't been. Great spot.
Oh, okay. I like that. So now, all right, this is where we get into a couple things here, because before, when you were talking about, getting into commercial real estate and talking to people who,
Sure.
talking to people that have been in the game a little bit longer than you. And like I said earlier, you're somebody that builds relationships. In your perspective, right? How important are relationships that you've built throughout the years, and what advice would you give people on how to keep those going? Because a lot of people don't really understand how to, keep relationships going, and I feel like you're someone that does a very good job at that.
No, I appreciate that. I think in terms of my particular profession, it's 100% people driven. You choose an attorney, you're choosing someone with very delicate situations, be it a lot of money's at stake, maybe not a lot of money, but maybe a lot of pride, a lot of, that person's energy, ethos, business, whatever the case is. Um, it's 100% driven by the relationship. And I've had the good fortune to work at different firms with different attorneys, different styles, all the way from an AmLaw 200 firm down to solo practitioners, all different types of practice areas. So everything from criminal defense to wills, trusts, and estates to commercial litigation to what I'm focused on now, commercial transactions and business transactions, a little bit of like mid-market corporate M&A. It is 100% person and people driven. It is 100% about your reputation, your experience, how you can help, and especially in the next couple of years and then for the foreseeable future, how do you think outside the box and think creatively and anticipate where things are going to be maybe in 2030? Yes, there's the transaction here and now, but this was like a main point of a recent conversation I just had earlier today. Being people driven, like that's where the whole world is going. That's where all technology is going. It's smarter, faster, smaller, more proactive. So just whatever vertical you're in, understanding it's all about timing, but it's all about like just being of value and trying to think long term about things, not think transactional. And sometimes I always try to like move with purpose, and maybe I'm a little bit more aggressive in terms of how I can help someone out. But honestly, my experiences heretofore have taught me that there's so much you can get out of life, but you never know when your time's up. And I can only speak for myself. Maybe you could share as well. So I'll stop talking as much. But I've had brushes with death. I've been a first responder to someone that unfortunately took their life. I have seen someone die right in front of my eyes. Literally a situation. It was in Barcelona, the last day of an awesome trip. Some people I was with, they were about to cross the street. I was like, hold on. Like people drive, and as I was saying, people drive crazy. There was someone on a moped who was trying to beat the light, and they zigged when someone was zagging and pulling the other way, and they slammed into the car, and they literally stopped maybe like 2 feet. This is not an exaggeration, literally like 2 or 3 feet away. And I just learned how precious life is in that moment if I didn't already know it. But you can't plan for that. Man plans, God laughs. I am a God-fearing person. I don't put my faith on anyone. I try to lead by example. But like, if you don't believe it, like that's fine. It's more power to you. But if you do, and I think you speak with people and you understand like that are of that ilk, it's just like a different conversation, and they're more appreciative of your time and of what you're both collectively trying to do. So that's who I try to align myself with. And just going back to your initial question, you got to find the people that you should align yourself with and that are conducting themselves morally, ethically, legally, and just try to help each other out and move with purpose. And I'll shut up now. I apologize. People like listen to this thing. You're like, I'm glad I can't see this guy because he's got to be incredibly hideous, and he talks way too much. He's probably had too much coffee, which is true. But yeah, that's it.
Listen, you're the guest on this show. You're supposed to do most of the talking, so you're
No,
doing a great job. Doing a great job here. This is great, and also I do want to go back to what you said a little bit, because it is important to know that life is pretty delicate at times, and like you don't know, like tomorrow is not guaranteed in any way, and it's not the news that it's someone said this once. It's not the news that you're ready for. It's the news that you get on a random Tuesday at 11 a.m. Stuff like that is the stuff that changes how you feel, how you look at things. changes your perspective on life. And I get what you're saying. I understand it. So don't feel any certain type of way for talking. You're the guest, man. You're driving this thing. Well, I'm
No,
driving. I'm driving it.
you're driving it, man. We're both on
I'm
it together.
I'm driving it, but you're with me. You're right there. You're the co-pilot here. But so, on that topic of like aligning yourself with people that you want to be aligned with morally, ethically, all that. Do you have mentors, or are you
Yes.
you have mentors? So, what kind of mentors do you have, and how important are they to you?
Mentors are invaluable. I mean, you got to find the right mentor. This is, I'll just kind of go into like the recommendations that have served me. You got to find someone that's like several decades ahead of you. Like your contemporaries are around your age. They can be kind of like a big brother, a big sister, or, a superior, someone to help you along. But a true blue mentor, probably not going to have time for you. They're probably at a level that you can only hope to attain. And they probably are ignoring you when you reach out and you reach out again. Like there's got a lot going on. There's just a lot going on in people's lives. People are constantly distracted by both meaningful and not as meaningful distractions. So you can't fault them for that, and you appreciate that. But I have been blessed with some mentors that are true game changers that have helped me open my perspective. And I think that's what you really want from a good mentor. Um, and understand it's a relationship. You're the mentee. So if you finally get the time with this person, or you're blessed to just like walk up and strike up a conversation with someone who happens to be well positioned, and someone that you want to emulate, do what they tell you. Respect their time. You have a conversation, like go back, take notes, return back to it. I take notes all the time. I take way too many notes. My law school buddies would give me a lot of slack for that. Like the first couple of weeks, couple of years of law school, I'm just scribbling away, like just trying to get all the juice out of like this incredibly expensive education. But all that to say, just take notes and go back to it. You're not going to remember it. You got to do it right after the fact, and I try to do it as best I can. But I have a challenge with it too. And it's just like a fact of life. But take the notes, return to them. They're going to send you one message while you're there sitting. But if you look back, you understand the wisdom. And they say, knowledge is learning what to add. Wisdom is learning what to do without or to take away. So like you're not going to get the full takeaway in that one sitting. And if you think that, maybe you got to like find another mentor, because the true mentors are going to be like, hey, here's how I got limited time with you. Here's what I would do if I were you. You're going to face challenges I don't even begin to understand. And you hear that a lot of conversations with more, 45 to 55-year-old, further along in their careers. They're like, AI, that's you, man. I'm retiring. I'm out. I'm not going to be alive for like really dealing with it. So just understand, appreciate that. Understand that there's probably a multiple generation difference. So how you communicate is just as important as what you communicate. And just like a quick tangent off that, there's this one attorney who's a savant when it came to his practice area. He'll remain nameless. He's not PC. He's a brilliant practitioner, a real like salt of the earth kind of guy. And we just got along well. It's just funny. He would send me these emails, and it was like all caps, and it would be like out of nowhere, and it'd be like at different hours of the night or whatever the case is. And I'm like, my millennial mind is like tweaking out. I'm like, this guy's super pissed off at me. Like, what did I do? Like, I didn't even. And then like I finally I'm like, I just got to talk to this person. Ended up having a beautiful relationship with this practitioner, and I realized he's sending all caps. He's like 3 inches away from the screen. He cannot see. He has like a terrible prescription, and like his caps lock is on, and he's like, you pick up the phone, and you're like, hey, I was just checking on that thing. Oh, okay. How's everything else going? All right. See you later. Bye. Like very like off the cuff, like really nice person. Uh, you got to like understand the medium and what's going on. And some people are tech challenged, and that's okay. And it takes all kinds.
Dude, it happens so that happens a lot, where you'll talk to somebody who's older, right? And you think via email that they're either yelling at you or they're pissed at you.
Yeah.
And you're like, what did I do? Or why are they responding this way. And you're like, hey, can we get on a phone call? This has happened a lot to me over the past few years. And you get on the call and everything's normal and everything's fine and they're calm and you're just like, wait a minute, what's going on? You're like, oh, they really don't know how to really email you properly or how we would email to make it. They're very short and to the point. There's no like, you know how when we email each other, sometimes like, hey, I'm like, hey Vin, you're like, hey Steve, and then we write it. They're just like, what are you doing at this time? At this day, it's in all caps, and you're like, "What is something? Why is this very important? What's going on here? Why are they screaming at me?" So I see that happen a lot, man. I see that happen a lot. But those are the people that have such. The thing is, those are the types of people that have such good life experience that you need to meet with them in person and pick their brains and talk to them, and like you said, take notes because they're the most interesting people.
Yes,
they're by far the most interesting people. Like we went. So when you hooked me up with Adam and I went to that lunch,
Adam's great.
I met a guy there. I'm gonna not say his name.
That's fine. Yeah, but we're talking about Adam Connors, by the way. We gotta give Adam some kudos here because
Adam Connors is great guy, awesome networker. He puts great people in rooms together. He's amazing. I'm trying to get him on the show too.
Throw some meat on the story. So what he does every week without fail, he rents out 10th Street Pizza, which if you're in Hoboken, you know it's a great spot. He rents out the place and he just brings a couple people together. He picks who will mesh well with who based on personality, profession, so on and so forth. And you just sit for like 2.5, 3 hours or whatever. And like you just meet these people and you walk away and you're like, wow, like I like genuinely met someone. Like not just like, hey, here's a business. Like I hate here's a business card. Like I don't give out business cards. I purposely leave them. If we want to like communicate, I'll say like here's the best way for us to follow up if it makes sense for you. Or like if you genuinely want to like follow up with someone or like hang out or whatever, it comes organically. Like the business card thing, I think is a good litmus test for. It has a time and a place, and it serves its utility. But I think our generation and the ones below it, especially, like we're the first to grow up with a non-internet world and an internet world. The generation below us, they're in it. The one below it now, it's called like Generation Alpha. This is new to me. I didn't know.
That's new. I just read an article about this the other day.
They're in the matrix. They're plugged in. What? No, I'm not. I'm just tongue in cheek here. But
they're plugged in. It's almost like they're programmed almost.
It's going to be like Elon Musk Neuralink. It's going to be like who's going to sign up for that? Like maybe you or I, but they're going to be like, of course. Why would I not sign up for that? Make my life
right. Right. Oh, but Adam, you know the thing that Adam does at the lunch that I love? When you show up, everybody gets a card and with a different question on it, and you have to ask before you sit down to eat. You have to go around the room and ask every single person at the lunch the question that you have on the card. It's amazing. It's such a good way to network. And there was a gentleman there who was a little bit older that just his responses, because you go in a WhatsApp group afterwards.
Yep.
He puts everybody in a WhatsApp group. His responses are just like one-word responses, and you're just like, in person, you talked for like 5 minutes at a time, like full, nonstop, and then on WhatsApp you're just one word. But I know if you say, hey, do you want to link up? We'll go grab some lunch. He'll just respond yes and give you an address, and then you'll go and you'll get like a couple words in for the hour that you're there.
I love that. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to take part in this like as much of like to the smallest degree as possible. The tech thing.
Oh
yeah, I'm tech savvy. Call. Yeah, I'm tech savvy. Sure.
That's it. It's amazing. It's amazing stuff. It's great. Those lunches, by the way, if you are not connected with Adam, which we'll get, if you are not connected with Adam, you should be, because he is such
Adam
a great
Connors,
person.
Great person.
He's such a great person to know, and he's just great to hang out with. Honestly, he's one of the coolest guys I know. So much like you, which is why you're on this podcast, because you are doing awesome.
I appreciate that.
Now, we spoke about this because there's the new thing going on where everybody's into like the ice baths, they're into the saunas. You and me spoke about sauna a little bit, but on that topic here, I don't want to go into the sauna topic. I want to go more into like, do you have a morning routine of some sort that you utilize daily?
I think it's kind of like a moving target, honestly, at this point in my career and personally. Recently married, also had a honeymoon in Greece like yourself, so you understand how awesome that place is. Talking about doing awesome. I mean,
Incredible.
you got to visit Greece at some point in your life if you're listening to this. You talked to either one of us about where to go. You documented it very well, as I expect you to.
Thank you. I try. I try my best. Everybody's like, "How did you not come back 40 pounds heavier?" I'm like, "Because there's nothing in the food there. It's just
All the stairs in Santorini because of that.
that that too.
Nobody
But
warned me about that, but that's another story.
that's
No, but I mean, as far as the morning routine goes, I'm newly married and I love my wife to death, and we have a puppy who's 5 weeks. So the morning routine involves tending to this little furry child, who I'm learning more and more about how exactly to do that, and it's a good pre children type way of going about things.
very very good. It's very good. It is.
All my contemporaries that have like two kids or three kids, they're like, all right, it's nothing. I mean, I just we joke about it, but the morning routine involves taking her out or whatnot, and then trying to get some type of athletic endeavor in. So a run, usually I ran Division 1 all 4 years in undergrad, and I try to keep that up. So I'll do anywhere from 4 to 7 miles at a pretty good clip, and
Wow.
it's great. I mean, I love running. It's taught me a lot. It's a thankless sport. You have no one to blame but yourself. And I was blessed to run for one of the most storied coaches in any high school athletic program at Christian Brothers Academy. I ran for Tom Heath when he was still the head coach there.
Okay.
They currently have the national record for the most consecutive wins, dual meet wins. And I think that particular record has surpassed all other records of its kind of any sport. So I think it's
Wow.
about 300 or maybe above. I don't know. I lost track, but it
That's
was like,
incredible, though.
yeah, it was like it's over 50 years or around 50 years at this point. Just every time, like the teams just don't really compete anymore as far as like understanding like that's what you're up against. But
Okay.
that's where the running comes from. I started there, and then I was very average, but that program really creates exceptional runners and people that have talent to the next level. And then my year, we had about five or six guys go D1. So I think that's proof in the pudding. And
Hell yeah.
awesome coaches, including he was an assistant coach at the time. But if you do any type of running and audio with the Nike app, coach Chris Bennett, he's like the Nike global head coach. He was our assistant coach. Just
Oh
understanding like the
wow.
caliber of coaching and the program there, which I'm happy to say, like they still have exceptional coaching in Sean McCaffrey, or McCafferty, excuse me, and then Mike Mazzacaro, who was around my year. He's now the athletic director there. So all I have to
Okay.
say, there's a storied program. I was happy to be a part of it, and that has continued on into my morning routine. I think just getting something physically done like that, it just begets the rest of the day on a good note and something you can connect with people on.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I see you posting. I give you credit first of all, and I know you were a runner and you've been a runner, but like to me running is hard because I was never a runner. Like I played sports, I played baseball.
Yeah, you're a catcher, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
understand the
So
grind and how what it takes.
right. And but I never did full on like jogging, like running. Like I never ran long distances. I was always doing sprints and short bursts and like weight room hit training stuff.
Sure.
So I give you a ton of credit for that because I see you could casually just go do like 4 miles and I would be keeled over and dying if I
I
did that.
I feel like it hits a lot of like the demands, or not the demands, but like the areas that our generation is looking for, which is like something that's quasi spiritual, something that's physical, something that keeps the mind flowing. At least for my profession, like you're essentially paid for like your experiences and what you know and how to get stuff done, and um running like supports that 100%. It helps me like tap
Yeah,
into that.
and I noticed that, and it's got to be a jolt mentally too, because I noticed just when I go for a walk, like I was before we got on, I was talking to my wife about this. I was in a rut yesterday. I worked out in the morning. It was a lifting workout, but
Hmm.
I was in a rut after that for some reason, and even into today. And today we walked for 20 minutes. And I came back and I was like, I feel energized, refreshed, like I could think. My mind is working now, and I think that's important. I feel like you get that tenfold from a run. So I feel like it's important. Like just movement in general is just it's huge. It's huge with how you just go about your day.
You got to move. Motion creates emotion. And you're talking about going for a walk with your wife. I mean, my wife and I make a point to try and go for a walk at least every day or every other day when we can. We have no reason to with the dog and everything. But I
Yeah.
think it's just important on that level. And it's something that we really look forward to. We've done hikes and trips around like where we're going to walk and see what we're going to see. And it's just such an important thing to like stay active, and it creates an energy that's different. Instead of just punching outward, it's kind of like you pull things in. People are attracted to that energy. And I myself, I enjoy working with other people that have that ethos and that spirit, and that are challenging themselves. And sometimes I bite off more than I could chew. I signed up for the 75 hard challenge. It's going to start in a couple weeks, but literally connected with some great folks, most of them in Colorado and out west, but they're
Mm-hmm.
real estate investors. A lot of them are ex-military. They want to challenge themselves personally and professionally. And I find myself in this signal chat channel group, whatever you want to call it, and everyone's motivating each other and keeping each other honest. And it's just a great way to connect with people as well. Like an authentic way. Like you seeing how I'm going through it, we're both going through it, and that's it.
That's cool. That's cool. I've good luck with that. I know it's the tough part of that for me is the out that I know the two a day is I could probably do it. The one of them being outdoors
Yeah,
is the one. Well, just because we're here and this time of year, that it's hard, but that's why it's called 75 hard. So good luck. I'm gonna follow that journey. I hope you document a lot of that because I want to see where that goes.
maybe.
To be
Yeah, I'll
honest
try
with
to
you.
document it and keep it honest. That's part of the reason I post some of the runs is just one for like my own accountability. And two, just like a reason to be on social media. I try to really dial down the social media and the time on screen. It could be a lot. I think like the powers that be want you to stay engaged and on it. But
Yep.
this year especially, I don't know when this comes out, maybe like a week or two or whatever, but it's January 5th now, and kind of still in that. What are your resolutions, goals, whatnot for 2024? I want to do less with more, and that includes, screen time and stuff like that. Really just
Yeah.
getting person to person.
I get that, man. I get that. Trying to do I'm trying to be similar with that. I'm trying to post more but not be I'm trying to post more so that I can market more, but I'm trying to be not as engaged with everything else that's going on. So I totally understand that. Now, this is the whole point of the show, man. So I have to ask, what does living an awesome life look like to you?
What does living an awesome life look like? I think it's to the best, most sustainable way possible, living every day like your last. And what do I mean? Like you're spending time with those you love. You're maybe getting a workout in to begin and having some good energy throughout the day, and just kind of like ebbing and flowing. And whatever happens, you deal with it. You stay positive, and you kind of, not kind of, you leave people better off than you found them. So there's plenty of content and anecdotes and whatnot about people having conversations or something as simple as like a smile or a thank you. I try to say thank you to everybody. I try to lift people up where I can. Sometimes I'm so caffeinated and just I want to get a lot done in a short period of time, so that works. It's a blessing and a curse, but genuinely living an awesome life. You're challenging yourself. You have defined success for yourself. These ambiguous terms, success, wealth, like what does that look like? You have it defined. You're heading towards that, and you're in a better spot. And the people that you're in a better spot now than you were the day before. You're leveraging everything you have at your disposal, and I mean leverage is in you have some blessings here, or you have some things that are at your disposal that you take for granted, like working arms, legs, eyesight, access to internet, access to clean running water, which is going to be and continues to be a challenge. Access to food. Hoboken, we have great spots, and we have the ability to go out and enjoy a great time. Um, that's not the case for everybody. So how do you pay it forward? Living an awesome life is helping others to figure out, and also for them, to help them live out an awesome life. And I totally butcher like how that would sound like in a nice way. Maybe you chop that up in post production, but you help other people and you make them have an exceptional experience, and you'll get back like whatever goodness that comes from that, like the joys in the giving and in the doing. So that's what living an awesome life is.
That's phenomenal. I love it. You didn't butcher it, but I love the way you tied it together there. That was fantastic stuff. Now,
Appreciate that.
before that, this is important now as we go into wrapping up here. I need to know it. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh man, my go-to karaoke song. Oh, jeez. That's like a loaded question. You gotta like judge. You gotta ask the audience, kind of judge the tempo,
See what's
see
going on that
see what's
night,
going on. Yeah, like what's the crowd? What are the ages? What has already been done. You don't want to do a repeat song. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. I also
If
very.
you're leading off, you're the leadoff hitter at karaoke night, and you have to set the tone.
Oh
And
man.
the crowd is late 20s to mid 40s.
Oh, I try to pass the mic as best as I can. I don't know. I mean, getting out of that situation would be like my MO. But honestly, ask the audience and just try and like be at their good graces. Like I did not. I practice a lot. I don't practice singing and dancing.
Fair.
So
That's fair. That's fair. I like that. Now,
yeah,
tell everybody how they can find you.
how they can find me? I would say on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on whatever. I would say first and foremost, though, talk to the host here, Steve. That's it, man. That's the great way. And if we have an opportunity to meet in person, like you mentioned initially, um, I'm in Hoboken. We get to put together some great events and go to some different spots around here and support the food and beverage community. There's some great spots. We still need to have like a Michelin level chef, I feel like, to put the spot on the map. But there's a lot of great people that are in the culinary scene here in Hoboken and Jersey City. It attracts an awesome group, and there's a lot to offer. And hopefully we have an opportunity. Whoever's hearing this, if they want to reach out, we can break bread and grab a coffee or lunch or whatever at one of these established venues and take it from there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Vin, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate you giving me some time and telling your story.
Steve, appreciate you doing the Lord's work, doing a great job. This is an awesome podcast, and it's been so much fun to be on and also to listen to your current episodes and then the ones that come as you head towards 100. Let's go.
Thank you. We're setting that first goal, 100 episodes. That's it.
Excellent.
So,
Very good, sir.
so love it. So everybody, thank you for listening. If you want to leave a review, it can't hurt. But other than that, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and also YouTube. Everyone, thank you for listening. We will see you next week.